Hi guys, welcome to your monthly horoscope for June 2018. Now this month, I mentioned this previously, so I let most of you guys know that I'm going to try and do the monthly horoscopes differently this month. Just to give you a little bit of background on the way this works is I've been doing monthly horoscope for Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Libra, for each sign, sun sign of the zodiac for years, okay? And initially I started doing them and it took me about 30 minutes. What I did is I'd go through every day of the month, and I'd look at key things, major highlights that were happening in the month. So it took me about half an hour. Now, the only difference between Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and is that it's the same energy happening in the sky. It just so happens that the energy takes place in different houses for each signs of the zodiac. So what I thought I could do, because I'm always trying to think of better ways of doing this for myself and for you guys, is to give you really detailed information about June. And then, once I've given you that information, I will go through each sign one by one and tell you what areas of your life that's going to happen in. So, by doing it this way, I'm doing one bigger and longer video, but I'm able to give you a lot more information rather than the key bits. I don't have to repeat myself 12 times, and I can also still tell each sign of the zodiac, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, what is going on for them in the coming month. Okay, so I'm going to get started. The way I'm doing this is I'm using my laptop. I've got some, I don't know if you can see that, but that's the astrology software I'm using, and that allows me to go through each day. Then I've made a couple of notes for key events. So let me get started. So first of all, in June, we have got Mars in Aquarius all month. So Mars is the planet of masculinity and drive. It's what it wants. It's what you want. It's what you want to achieve. And in Aquarius, it's very kind of cerebral. It's looking at invention. It's looking at making technical progress. It's looking at education. It's looking at being of service to humanity. Aquarius is the water bearer, but Aquarius is an air sign, and it's responsible for communication and thinking and ideas, which are ultimately going to end up being of service for the greater good. So Mars is not that comfortable in this position because Mars rules Aries, and it's much more about my desires, my needs, keeping everything very simple, and then progressing forward. In Aquarius, Mars is forced to really put all of its energy into thoughts and thinking and new, fresh ideas, and that fills you with a sense of responsibility. It makes you teachable. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to pick up a lot of information, and you'll also have an interest in helping people, but also using your knowledge for the benefit of others who don't have that knowledge, and to teach them and to make a positive contribution that way. Now, the Sun and Saturn oppose each other all month. The Sun is your identity, and it's in Gemini at the moment. It's in Gemini until the 20th of June 2018. Wait, I'm just going to put this here so I don't have to lean over. Yeah, so the Sun is going to stay in Gemini until the 20th. Then it goes into Cancer. So happy birthday, Gemini and Cancer. And that opposes Saturn, which is in Capricorn. Now, the Sun in Gemini is your identity. It's whimsical, it's upbeat, it's light-hearted, it likes to communicate, it likes to find out new things, it likes to throw parties and get involved in lots of different clubs and organizations and communities, so there are people to chat to, and there's connection, and there are fresh ideas, and that there's constant buzz and motivation and things going on. The Sun in Cancer is very focused on loyalty and being loyal towards your family and being nurturing and really making family the most. So those two elements are opposed to Saturn in Capricorn, which really says work to create structure in your life. So for the month of June, no matter what star sign you are, you're going to feel an opposition between these two planets. Do I follow my personal desires of being free and chatting and taking care of other people and spending time in my personal life? Or do I give in to the pressures of my existing experience, and do I work and do I settle down and make sure that I'm working as hard as I can? Like everything, the best thing to do is to try and find a balance between the two. If you can find a balance between your personal life and your working life, there's not going to be guilt or a sense of frustration or repression either way. If you don't work at all, you feel guilty. If you just work, it's going to be like, I'm missing out on life. All the good things are happening now, and I'm stuck in this office and I'm not getting to experience anything of it. So that might be a reaction you have. Now let's go through the month day by day. So on the 1st of June, we have got a grand trine in the chart, and it connects Venus in Cancer, the planet of love and beauty in Cancer, with Jupiter, the lucky planet in Scorpio, and it connects with Neptune in Pisces. So on the first day of the month, you have this amazing ability to be emotionally very intuitive and insightful about what is going on with other people. Because you've had that experience yourself, you're going to be able to give other people opportunities or point them in the right direction when it comes to healing the pain that they've experienced on that day or in general. And you're going to be someone who, you're going to be a shoulder to cry on. You can be someone who evokes trust in other people, and they will kind of come to you. Now that grand trine turns into a kite by connecting the moon in Capricorn at the with two sextiles on top of this triangle, making it a kite. And a kite is something that can really take off and bring you some good luck. So the moon is what makes you feel comfortable. You feel comfortable working today on an emotional level to broaden your horizons, to help other people in your family life, to get involved emotionally, and to kind of get yourself involved in situations that you usually would steer clear of. So you're very kind of nurturing and caring here at the beginning of the month. We still have that grand trine going on the 2nd of June, but the kite is gone now, so it feels less comfortable, but it's something that you're really good at, that you have control over. And a grand trine is something that isn't something to be sneezed at, it's a gift. So for all of us here, the beginning of June is going to be really healing in a way. And that can be us healing each other and ourselves. I'm just looking at until this trine lasts. It lasts until the 6th of June. That healing grand trine exists. So for the first 6 days of June, really, we've got the opportunity and potential for healing. And we've got healing in the areas of family, in the area of self and understanding yourself and understanding who you really are. Taking Scorpio, Jupiter, and being able to dive down into yourself because it's sitting on the Ascendant, which is in Scorpio. So this is a 6-day period where you can really do a lot of inner work and progress and understand yourself a lot better. So if you're someone who doesn't know what their life purpose is or what you should be doing for work, the first 6 days of June really allow you to just get rid of the noise. It allows you to love yourself, to manifest or to picture your ideal life the way you would like it to be. And then by listening to those feelings, the luck factor is that Jupiter helps you break through the blocks. And by breaking through the blocks, you can then manifest this wonderful reality by realizing that it's doable, and you visualize it and you keep thinking about it, and that way you're able to manifest something you want in your life. So that is the first 6 days of June. Now the first, we had that kite. Now on the second, we have Uranus squaring a lot of the energy that's in, it's a stellium. A stellium in astrology is Stellium, and it's a cluster of planets which are sitting together. So it's 3 or 4 or more planets sitting together. Now we have Pluto, Black Moon Lilith, the Moon, Mars, and the South Node in Aquarius squaring Uranus in Taurus. Now Uranus is at 0 degrees, so you get the most quintessential, natural, rebellious, and chaotic energy of Uranus, and it's in Taurus. And it will urge you to do things differently in terms of your practical physical life. The friction is between making actual changes, believing in yourself, being comfortable that you can make these changes, especially if the changes you want to make have an effect on other people in the sense that you can help them and that you can be of service again, and that you can do something for the greater good. On the 3rd of June, we have a lot more focus on Jupiter and the rising in Scorpio, because we now have a square with Mars and Aquarius to that rising and Jupiter in Scorpio. So the 3rd of June, communicating with other people and really being honest about your feelings. Like for instance, chatting with someone at a dinner party and saying, you know, I'm trying to get this foundation together, but I just don't have the funds, and we don't have the trucks to deliver food to people. By being honest and vulnerable and talking about your failures as such, things that you haven't quite resolved, you'll activate the good luck of Jupiter, and it's likely that someone else will help you achieve those dreams. But you've got to open your mouth on the 3rd. On the 4th of June, there's a stronger link now between the Sun and Mercury, which are conjunct at the moment, and they're conjunct here in the first week of June. So the Sun is your identity, Mercury is the communication planet, very, very happy in Gemini because it rules Gemini. So they sit together and they create an identity of someone who is a communicator. And that creates a sesqui square and a trine to Pluto and Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn, and Mars in Aquarius. So the ability to talk and communicate and think clearly about what it is you want to be doing, who you are, what it is that you're interested in. If you really ask yourself the question, what could I be doing to be of service to other people, you'll see a way to transform your working life. But your ego is going to jump in there as well, and it's going to say, don't make any changes to your life because, you know, the economy is the way it is and you're lucky to have a job at all, so don't make changes. But the 4th is really a great day to look into really making changes if you're not happy in the institution you belong to, and transitioning out of that so you can be of more service. So the beginning of the month here is all about wanting to be of service in one way or another. Now on the 5th, the moon sesqui squares Venus in Cancer. So the moon is the most sensitive part of who you are. It's in Pisces, it's very spiritual, it's very intuitive. Connecting with Venus in Cancer means that you, again, have this great capacity to love yourself. So if you're someone who has been bullied, victimized. You don't feel like you have a right to your own opinion. You hate yourself. Which is, by the way, hating yourself is the worst state of being because you're constantly at odds with yourself and you manifest more negative things which you get to hate. When you finally accept yourself and embrace yourself, despite the things that you don't like, and you say, this is who I am and I must have been made this way for a reason, I'm going to embrace this and I'm going to love myself, that creates more love. So if you're someone who struggles with that, the 5th of June is really excellent in terms of bringing you together with your higher self. On the 6th of June, things change with that Grand Trine now dropping off. And the biggest friction we've got is between the Sun and Mercury, so your identity as someone who communicates, versus your Moon. There's a square, which is in Pisces, which feels and which allows itself to be guided, and that trines Scorpio rising and Jupiter rising. So good luck via your feelings. So on the 6th of June, there's going to be a decision, or there's going to be an opportunity to either act on facts or to act on your feelings. If you act on your feelings, you'll have much greater luck than if you act on the facts and the thing that seems right and the status quo is suggesting. If you reject that and say, I'm going to do things my way because I feel this ought to be done in a different way, you'll have a much more positive outcome. And people will start to look at you as a leader and someone who can really take them in a right direction. Now, on the 7th, the rising in Scorpio and Jupiter in Scorpio, they form a trine with Neptune and a sesqui square with Chiron and the Moon in Pisces. So on the 7th, past hurts and past pains in relationships will come back up. So you may get a call from an ex-partner, or you may think about someone who, the man or woman who got away. The important thing is to continue to be vulnerable and to connect and to let the universe guide you. And it's a great day to heal your emotional wounds by transforming them and manifesting someone or something that you can love again and that you can give yourself to. So reading between the lines here, the 7th of June is a great day to meet someone new. Now on the 8th of June, we have a sesqui square between the South Node in Aquarius and the Moon in Aquarius with the Sun and Mercury in Gemini. So there's a real sense of wanting to express yourself creatively and to, again, be of service and to do something through communication to help. You're very, very communicative at this time. It's the time of year that we're in. We're in the season of Gemini. Things are lighter, things are more open, people are more open with one another. It's much easier to meet people at this time of year. And here on the 8th, you'll have an opportunity to really help someone, even if it's not someone that you know. On the 9th, there's strong friction between Saturn, Pluto, and Black Moon Lilith, and the Moon and Uranus. So there's some confusion about work, possibly, or what direction you should be going in. What you want is to just progress, but Uranus creates kind of chaos in a practical sense, so things might not go the way you plan. So on the 9th of June, if there is some sort of block or challenge, don't be too frustrated about it. It's meant to be there to some extent. Make sure that you continue working and looking at other ways in to wherever you want to go, or realign your ideas to some extent so that you can achieve what you want despite a rejection or a block or a door being closed on you here on the 9th. On the 10th of June, there's a big shift. We have Uranus and the Moon now opposing the rising sign in Scorpio and Jupiter in Scorpio. The opposition is between being comfortable in your own skin and looking at taking control of your physical circumstances. That's what you're really going to be comfortable doing. You'll feel creative on this day. You'll want to take the initiative to make some changes, either to the way your house looks, or to do some gardening, or to make changes to your eating habits or your career. And that causes friction with the good luck planet Jupiter and the rising in Scorpio, which is saying, listen, if you connect spiritually today with a higher power that's greater than yourself, a greater power of your own understanding, then that will provide you with a lot of good luck, because you'll get answers in terms of what direction you need to take in life, what the next right step is, and that's really the best option here for the 10th of June. Rather than gardening or painting or whatever, listen. So rather than expressing, listen to what's coming in, take note of it. It's really going to be lucky and it will bless you. On the 11th, a sesqui square appears between the Sun and Mercury, and they also connect with Jupiter in Scorpio. So this is another day of socializing, networking, improving your relationships with other people by being out and about. It might have a helpful impact on your work, transforming your work and seeing if you can do something differently. And it will also fulfill some sort of hope and dream, or it will be a step in the right direction towards realizing your ultimate end goal. On the 12th, there's an opposition between Saturn in Capricorn and Mercury in Gemini. Mercury is at 29 degrees, so 2 and 9. First of all, every house in the astrology chart has 30 degrees. So when a planet is at 1 or 29, it becomes critical. It's like I'm clinging on to this energy that I'm in now. So Mercury is still very, very communicative here, and it really wants to get its point across. 2 and 9 also is the master number 11, and that's all about being of service to other people. Saturn at 6 degrees in Capricorn says, again, you're going to have a much better time creating work opportunities for yourself today, rather than volunteering or giving a free speech to help other people. But why not combine the two? Why not use, if you want to be a speaker or a life coach or something like that, why not create an opportunity to communicate today, to spread the message that you feel is important, and to actually organize it and rent a venue and get people to pay to come in. And that way you're really creating a work opportunity, so Saturn will be satisfied, and you get to really express something that's meaningful. So, you can have a talk on anything. There are self-help groups everywhere. You can start your own 12-step group if you want to do that. If you've been through relationship abuse, you could have a talk in your local area about the cycle of abuse and what happens for younger people. You could volunteer to go speak at schools. You could launch your own business and do a presentation speech today. All of those kind of things are really ideal. So the 12th is really superb when it comes to you as a communicator, and the result of your communication is that you create something solid that can be in place for you. So it's not just fleeting words, it's something that stays there and has a long-lasting impact. On the 13th, we've got Mercury going into Cancer. So that's why it was so desperate to get its point across the day before, because now on the 13th, Mercury is the communication planet, and it's like a satellite floating around, okay? The fact that it was in Gemini, the sign that it rules, made it very happy to express and to walk through different doorways of opportunity and to find ways of expressing itself. In Cancer, it's much more focused now on taking care of other people, communicating on an emotional level, being sensitive, being nurturing, being creative again, but really putting other people first before you. It still opposes Saturn in Capricorn, but also on this day, we have a new moon in Gemini. Now, a new moon is when the sun and the moon come together and the moon is pitch black. And it's sidling up to the sun to get some of its energy and to recharge its batteries so that it can go on its next monthly cycle and go through the whole month. And then once it hits the full moon, it releases that energy and it winds down again to recharge itself. So the moon is at 21 degrees. The sun is at 22 degrees. Loads of Gemini information is being pulled in. So you will still feel very communicative, but the way it's going to come out now is different because Mercury has changed and gone into Cancer. So whereas the day before you were very clear and factual, now it's about talking with an emotional angle or getting interested in things that really are still an emotional issue in your present life. So it's not as good for communication over the next couple of weeks now from the 13th onwards because communication is much murkier. There's room for miscommunication. If you open up to someone in the hopes that you'll bond with that person and you'll become closer friends and you'll, make an ally or a new friend, that's the kind of thing that can then be turned around and thrown in your face. Like for instance, if you say, oh, I struggled with an eating disorder, and then you share that with a new girlfriend or a friend or something, and you fall out over something, and then the next time you go for lunch, they constantly watch what you eat and they say, why aren't you eating enough? So you shared something that was really there in an attempt to, just be open and honest, but it's taken totally the wrong way. So rather than bonding with that other person, they now become concerned about you and they almost become an adversary because they're like the food police. So be careful from the 13th of June onwards in terms of what you express and how much emotional stuff you express, because it may be misunderstood. That doesn't mean you don't have to express your emotional pain or your truth. It doesn't matter if other people misunderstand it. If you need to get it out there, get it out there. But what I'm saying is that if you go on Twitter and you say something really profound and meaningful and you expect a load of support, don't expect it because there's room for it to be taken differently. Now, on the 14th of June, we have Venus, the planet of love and beauty, moving out of Cancer. It was in Cancer at 29 degrees on the 13th as well. So that is very much about being loving towards humanity and wanting the best for everyone. So this is really a month of having other people's interests at heart, wanting to do something creative or nurturing or communicative for the greater good so that there's more information out there and that there's more cohesiveness. I think that's really important. So when Venus goes into Leo, the planet of love, beauty, and creativity is at her most glamorous. I mean, in Leo, she's in the spotlight. She's got beautiful feathers in her hair. She's dressed in a red, beautiful dress. She just looks gorgeous. And if she walks into a room, all eyes are on her. So we've got Venus in Leo now, opposing Mars, its counter principle. Mars is the male principle, Venus is the female principle, and Mars is in Aquarius at 8 degrees. So Mars is interested in innovating, educating, teaching, making the world a better place. And Mars doesn't appreciate frivolous Venus going around and saying, I want diamonds and I'm so gorgeous and glamorous and fabulous and I'm a performer and I'm entertaining people and I'm making people laugh and I'm spreading the love, which is also valid, but it's a different approach. So there's friction between the masculine, which says, let's be stoic and simple and keep everything calm. And then there's Venus, which says, let's be extravagant and throw a party and live it up. Venus stays in Leo for the next couple of weeks, so you can expect to have this living up kind of feeling come up quite often. So throwing parties, dinners, outdoor barbecues, whatever. It's a really good time to do that, and that will bring you a lot of joy. But you have the decision, you know, am I going to do something today? It's not like a man controlling you. I'm talking about astrology, so the male principle. So it's about your own sense of, should I be doing something today to heal the world or volunteer or make a contribution? Or should I do something for myself and make myself feel beautiful and glamorous? And that's super important, because if you feel good about yourself, you'll have so much energy, you can help people much more, rather than someone who's low on energy and who's kind of schlepping themselves by. They're not able to make as much of an impact as someone who also celebrates and values themselves. 15th of June, we've got a connection, a square forming between Jupiter in Scorpio and again Mars in Aquarius. More friction now. I think when Venus moved into Leo on the 14th, now the next day with the friction of Jupiter in Scorpio, that's about really feeling things intensely. There's too much friction now and Mars kind of wins, because it's at war with Venus, it's at war with Jupiter, and Mars says, okay, it's time to step into my power and to express or innovate or invent or teach. So 15th of June is quite a serious day where you do all of those invention kind of things, and you think logically and reasonably, and you look to the future and you look at, if you're technical, new developments in solar energy research and mathematics, physics, astronomy, all of those kind of things. And if you're one of those types, one of those scientific types, today is the day to really make a lot of progress here. On the 16th, we have a lovely trine forming between Jupiter in Scorpio and Mercury in Cancer. So today is the day to open up to someone, to make a new friendship, to form a new relationship with someone. You're very creative and charming in the way you come across, and you come across as very sensitive, and also there may be a vulnerability that you show, and that's recognized by another person who seems to get you immediately and who's attracted to you. And there can be real emotional freedom and emotional intensity on this day if you get out there and if you meet someone new, or if you're in a relationship already, you go out and you do something creative that you haven't done before with your partner, something that's fun, that's out of your comfort zone. You'll have an amazing fun day here. There are a lot of, when I look at this time of the month, things kind of change now, and some of the planets are starting to move houses, like I said. So Mercury is moving, and Venus moved into Leo. When they move signs, they also move houses. So later on, when I tell you what this means for each sign of the zodiac, I'll get into that. But looking at this, it seems like the world is really going to be focused on working very hard. There are going to be lots of public displays of the work that's being done. So we'll hear a lot about the governments and plans for the future, risk reduction, traveling abroad. I don't know if there are summits planned, political summits planned, but it's really a month where things are being looked at differently. And there's the real potential to calm things down and to get them more settled. On the 17th, we have a Saturn forming a relationship with the moon in Leo. So 17th of June is your opportunity to impress your new employer. It's the best day to go for a job interview. It's the best day to make a presentation. You'll know your facts. You'll be rock solid. It's an opportunity that'll open the door into somewhere you want to go into. The moon in Leo at 20 degrees, 1 and 2 being a relationship, means that your exuberance and your bubbly energy, supported by Venus being in Leo, really makes you very attractive and very charming to lots of people. So lots of people are going to want to have you on board. They'll hire you, they'll want to spend time with you, they'll be interested in getting to know you more. So if you're someone who's looking for work or looking to change your work, if you're looking at, at making a lateral move in work, because you feel like you're not being paid enough at the moment, then this is the ideal time to make that lateral move. It's really good in terms of building yourself up and becoming more present and more of a bigger personality when it comes to your working life and what goals you set yourself. On the 18th of June through until the 24th of November, so a long time, Neptune, the dream planet, goes retrograde. Now, Neptune is a water planet. It's fully water, and the sign is the trident of Neptune, King Neptune, Ariel's dad. And that is in Pisces, which it loves because Neptune rules Pisces. So it's in a sign where it's very comfortable. It's able to manifest through spirituality. So by connecting with your higher self, your spiritual self, you can manifest things into reality. And that's why the law of attraction is so powerful at the moment, because Neptune has been in Pisces for a long time. And it really is, if you get creative in your mind and you manifest and you visualize the things that you want, you can manifest them. Now, when Neptune goes retrograde, it's about the inner world and it's about manifesting things within you. So the person you want to become. This happens every year. So Neptune is direct half a year and then it goes retrograde half a year. So we look within ourselves and we see what we can grow and what we can develop and how we can make our dreams come true in terms of the people we are. So if I want to be a film star, or if I want to be famous, or if I want to make a lot of money, or if I really want to change my behavior from being someone who's ungrateful to being kind and giving back, those are all of the kind of things now that Neptune in retrograde allows you to contemplate and to really look at yourself and have a dream of the identity you want to create in future. And it's at 16 degrees, so that's 7, it's mind and creativity. So start thinking about how you see yourself, and the sky's the limit. If you see yourself as, I only have an NVQ, which is a basic qualification in counseling, then all I can do is counseling, and that's not really something that appeals, so I'm not going to do it. Think much bigger, outside of the box. Ignore practical things for a while. So if you live in Africa and the rand is really poor, but you want to move to Paris and you want to design, then don't let the obstacles that are inherent in that dream immediately put you off. Manifest the dream by keeping positive about it and looking at ways to get over there and to find work. It is doable. People have done it. But it takes effort, and it takes you pulling yourself out of your comfort zone and being hard and making a real effort. On the 19th of June, Neptune now opposes the moon in Virgo. So the moon in Virgo is about downloading information, analyzing that information, and making sense of it. So Neptune going retrograde is immediately the next day activated and supported by the Virgo moon, because the Virgo moon is now going to really allow you to download loads of spiritual information, which will get you motivated and creative. Basically, the the muses sit on your shoulders on the 19th of June and they whisper wonderful things in your ears. And you're now immediately starting this process of getting the right information, being informed, looking at what will work, what won't work, and you'll be able to narrow down the kind of person that you want to become. Isn't that great that we have the choice of I want to be a particular type of person? 100 years ago, we didn't have that freedom. If you were a baker's son, then you would be a baker. On the 20th of June, we have a grand cross appear in the chart. A grand cross is 4 squares coming together to create a big red square in the chart. On this day, on the 20th, it connects the sun, which squares the moon in Libra. Then it squares Black Moon, Lilith, and Saturn in Capricorn, and it squares Uranus in Aries at 2 degrees. So on this day, you have a real desire to communicate with people, and you find it effortless to make wonderful connections with people. These aren't just going to be fluffy, superficial relationships. Your ego is going to be very loud on this day, and it's going to be chattering in your ear, and it's going to say, these aren't real friends. These people are only interested in you because they want something from you. Don't trust it. And that's the ego trying to keep you isolated. You really have the potential to make solid long-term relationships today, again, that are going to heal past experiences by amending them and replacing them with positive experiences. So now at this time of the month, there's a great time to manifest what it is you want and to heal things from the past that haven't worked so well. A grand cross as well, you've got to be careful because you'll have a lot of energy, but you'll be almost like an overdrive. On the 20th, you're going to want to get everything done immediately. So be careful that you take it one step at a time, you don't overwhelm yourself, and you don't bite off more than you can chew, because you'll get so overwhelmed that you just procrastinate and end up doing nothing. On the 21st, the moon moves on and it moves into, it's still in Libra, but now it squares Mercury in Cancer, and it also squares Pluto in Capricorn. So the desire to socialize is really subverted by Mercury saying, I want to talk about emotional things, and by Pluto, which is saying, I want you to change things in a practical way. So stop going to parties and having canapes and drinking champagne. Get to work and build your future based on your feelings. Slap on the wrist from the universe today. 22nd. We have a lot this Libra moon is very significant because we've got a lot of energy being put into it. So today, the sun in Cancer points towards this Libra moon, and it sesqui squares Neptune in Pisces. So we have a moon at 29 degrees now, so critical, so really, really interested in forming relationships with other people. This is going to be very public, very social time. But you'll also want to build something. It's almost like this month you're looking for something or someone to take care of. And you're looking to manifest a relationship where you can take care of the other person. And that's very nice, but be careful with that. Use your discernment, because people will spot someone who will want to help. Okay, so let's say I'm an alcoholic and I have mental health problems and violence issues. If I'm around there and I see someone who's totally giving off an energy of, I'm well and I'm in a good place, but I want a man or a woman in my life and I want to take care of them. Me as this ill, sick person, I'm going to sense that and I'm going to be pulled towards that person because they can rescue me. It's like when you try and rescue someone from drowning, they cling onto you so much that they drag you down with them. So on the 22nd, there's a great potential and possibility for new relationships or a great day in your existing relationship, but you also have to use discernment, and you shouldn't compromise your own ideals and values and beliefs just to be with someone else. It's not a good idea. It'll make you smaller, and it can bring up codependency issues, things like that. On the 23rd, we've got the moon conjuncting Jupiter now, both in Scorpio. So the moon is at 11 degrees, Jupiter is at 13, 1 and 3 is 4, that's stability. By listening to your feelings today, you're able to really express whatever spiritual message it is you want to express, and you can put yourself in the spotlight to do that, to help people, to be of service. So I really see this as a month that is very much about coming together and being inclusive and cohesive in the world. And I think there's going to be a lot of reconciliation and the desire to bring people together, and the ability to put oneself aside for the greater good. Now that applies to you, but that applies to the world in general, and that is really useful when we're looking at June coming up here, because it's not a month where we can expect major crises politically or in terms of governments, things like that. On the 24th, Mercury at 22 degrees in Cancer trines Scorpio at 24 degrees, which is the rising. So this is another day where your emotional insight, if you're someone who works as a creative type, an artist, a writer, or if you're a medium, a psychic, this is the day where you can really make breakthroughs, where you can really take your intuition to the next level, or you can find out information which you hadn't in the past. You're practicing and you're taking the next step up today. Or if you're someone who is connecting in a relationship and taking care of someone, you'll really understand that person much closer, and you'll get a much deeper insight into who they are on a soul level. And that's going to communicate something to you, whether this is a relationship that is always going to be about the other person, or is this person going to want to take care of me at some point and make me the center of attention. On the 25th of June, we have another grand trine forming in the chart. It connects Chiron in Aries, the moon in Sagittarius, and the North Node and Venus in Leo. So this is a day of exploring, again, letting go of the past by filling it up with something more positive, and really believing in love again, and believing that there are opportunities for you to be loved and admired. And if you're out and about today, it may just be that someone approaches you, and again, it's a great time for love. So we've had a lot of days in May that were potentially good for love. Here in June, we've also got great days here and there always popping up, which make it wonderful for you in terms of love, because of the energy that the stars are creating and how that's going to reflect here on planet Earth. From the 26th of June through until the 27th of August, Mars goes retrograde. So Mars is the male principle of drive and desire. When it goes retrograde, it makes you feel somewhat flat. It makes you feel somewhat aimless. You don't put as much energy and effort in. So it's good that this is happening around the summertime, because usually people wind down a little bit in the summer, in the northern hemisphere anyway. But also Mars is at 9 degrees. 9 in numerology is spirituality and completion. So because Mars, there's constant drive to make something of yourself and to compete and to be the best. Remember that Mars rules Aries. That is now at 9 degrees. So you can use your drive and desire to connect with the higher realms, to gain information and emotional and spiritual insight that will activate Jupiter, bringing you doors of opportunity, and that will really give you some content which you will be able to express creatively through writing or through talking to other people. That's going to help others. So you're not angry, you're not selfish, you're really now focused on, during this Mars retrograde, you're really looking at channeling your energy into the unmanifest and developing there. And if you do that during the 26th of June until the 27th of August, if you decide to really devote yourself to finding a meditation practice that works for you, once and for all, you're going to tick this box. You've tried mindfulness, nightmare. You've tried transcendental meditation, nightmare. You've now found breathing meditation, hooray, it works for you. You feel like you're connected to the higher realms. Everything's comfortable, perfect, wonderful. Try it. It's really, Mars doesn't go into these areas very often. Mars is selfish, selfish, selfish. And now in Aquarius, it's the opposite of selfish. And at 9 degrees, it's really very spiritual. So you can take this drive to become a much more enlightened individual. On the 27th, we've got a T-square appearing, and it connects the Sun in Cancer with the Moon in Capricorn and Saturn in Capricorn, and it becomes a triangle. It finishes off with Chiron in Aries at 2 degrees. So again, we've got a choice between connecting with loved ones and family versus work. And the triangle, the real friction that comes in is that you feel guilty that you are not good at relationships, and you need to work hard to maintain your relationships, and you're much better at work than you are in relationships. So you really need to put your work aside to make relationships better. That's not necessarily true. I really think that if you have to work today and you have to miss the family gathering or the child's performance, don't feel guilty. It's a great day for you to achieve work. And if circumstances are the way they are, then accept them and just make the best out of it. If you have to work today, and if you have to miss the social side of things, you will do exceptionally well at work. If you are able to do the family stuff, you'll reduce your guilt about not being there the other times. So, parents often don't have it easy because whatever they do, it's sometimes a thankless job. And it's like, oh, well, you're here. Why weren't you here at the last 5 ones, for instance? On the 28th of June, we have the full moon in Cancer. I will make separate videos on the full moon and the new moon that come out in the month of June to go into more detail, because those events can be quite complicated. Now, this full moon is illuminated by a sun in Cancer, so it's a very loving, nurturing energy. The full moon is in Capricorn at 12 degrees, so it's about communicating with yourself, getting ideas of how you can set goals and how you can work towards reaching those goals. So it's a very pragmatic, practical, hardworking full moon that we get here at the end of June. On the 29th, the moon is now next to Pluto and Black Moon Lilith, and they oppose the North Node and Mercury in Leo. Mercury is now in Leo. So when did Mercury go into Leo? On this day, on the 29th of June, Mercury comes out of Cancer, where you were communicating emotionally, and now you're communicating in Leo. And Leo is confident. It communicates like a boss, like a star, like a leader who wouldn't even question being nervous speaking in front of other people. Other people who listen are lucky to be here to get to hear me speak. That's the kind of attitude that Mercury in Leo has. So there's conflict between wanting to put yourself in center stage, because that's part of your work and that's what you want to be doing. So this is a great day to, again, present, to put yourself out there, to draw attention to yourself, to take a risk at work. It'll pay off. '30th of June, we've got another grand trine in the chart. So a grand trine area of talent connects the moon in Capricorn. Not in Capricorn. Why do I keep saying that? The moon in Cancer, Jupiter in Scorpio, and Neptune in Pisces. So the end of the month, you get a really wonderful, beautiful opportunity to heal. And the Sun in Cancer is able to heal you. Jupiter in Scorpio is going to show you what your hopes and dreams are for your life. And Neptune in Pisces allows you to visualize those, to capture that image. Click, click, take a mental screenshot, maybe make a vision board or just see that image and keep meditating on it or visualizing it. At the end of the month here, you get a talent for seeing what it is you want, and then you get the ability to manifest that by just putting the thought out there into the universe and letting the universe take care of the rest. So that's the way the planets are forming relationships with each other in the sky during the month of June. I'm now going to have a look at how this affects each sign of the zodiac. So for each sun sign. So if you were born in, so Aries and Taurus and Gemini and Cancer. So for Aries, the energy that I've just described until the 13th of June is going to take place in the 3rd and 4th houses. So those are the houses of communication, the way you think, siblings and family. So it is a month of being really nurturing and wanting to help and support other people. So you're really interested in getting a point across, communicating something helpful, and being helpful to family members. From the 14th of June onwards, the action happens in the 10th and 11th house, and then it becomes about being caring towards yourself and looking at the type of career that you want and that will make your dreams come true. So those are the main focuses in the area of your life that this energy applies to. For Taurus, the energy happens in the 2nd and 3rd houses up until the 13th of June. So Taurus, for you, making money and communicating and finding new ideas of making money in a way that's going to help others is really, really good for you, and you're inspired at the beginning of the month to really find new ways of generating an extra income, and you as a Taurus will enjoy that, having more control over your finances. From the 14th of June onwards, the activity happens in the 9th and 10th. So it's about continued ongoing learning that you can put into your work so that you can make more money. So for Taurus, you guys, it seems to me that you take the opportunity here to take care of yourself and nurture yourself by broadening your skill set and allowing those skills then to be implemented in your work, and you make more money. So I do see more money for you guys here in June. For Gemini, the action takes place in the 1st and 2nd houses. So it's about getting to know yourself and communicating with your inner self what's true and important to you, and then about how you can make money, being authentic. So Geminis, you guys are going to be the ones who really are forced to question, am I satisfied and happy in this job up until the 13th, or should I be doing something different to make money and to earn a living? From the 14th of June onwards, the activity happens in the 8th and 9th houses, and then again you're wondering, what institutions should I belong to? So if I make a change, where should I go? Or should I take a time out and a break to just really get my focus back? Should I go back to school? Should I educate myself? Should I go traveling? It's kind of a confusing time for you from the 14th onwards. So for you, Gemini, it's really important that you start to do meditation, or that you really spend some time really giving yourself some TLC. Maybe have a massage, or maybe have a psychic reading or an astrology reading to help you with life purpose and the direction that you're going in. Because the first 13 days of June are really going to be helpful in terms of identifying who you are and how you can translate that into making money in a career. But then afterwards, you're going to struggle a little bit finding out whether you should join another company or whether you should go self-employed, whether you should travel and start over in a different country or whether you should stay where you are. and you need a little bit of guidance. So use the first 13 days to really meditate and to really connect and try and get as much info as possible. For Cancer, the action takes place in the 12th and 1st houses until the 13th of June. So there's a lot of connection with spirit and a great connection with self. So you feel the unconditional love of the universe and you pass that on. From the 14th onwards, again, the energy is in the 8th and 9th houses again, 7th to some extent. So it's really about how do I take care of other people in my colleagues, my friends, the institutions I belong to, and also how do I expand and bring new people into my life and become more loving and broaden my network of friends. So Cancer, as always, is focused on the family side of things and loyalty and relationships and really having people in its life that Cancer trusts. Leo, for the first 13 days in June, the action happens in the 11th and 12th houses. So for you, Leo, this is wonderful. If you put yourself first, and guilt-free, you're allowed to put yourself first, and you connect with your higher self or a God of your own understanding. When I mean a God of your own understanding, I mean the universe, I mean the creator, I mean being in the zone when you're drawing and you lose 3 hours. I mean feeling that sense of total connection with something bigger and more loving and wiser than you are. And for some people that can be being in sports and really getting into the zone. For some people like me, it's transcendental meditation and getting in contact with my higher power. So you have the ability, Leo, to meditate and to ask, what is my purpose? And you will be given that information this month by Spirit, and that can really lead you in a much more successful direction. Again, like Gemini, if you aren't getting what it is you want, a personal reading to clarify things can also help. Now, from the 14th of June onwards, the rest of this stuff happens in the 6th and 7th houses. So the 6th house is work and career, so you will make progress there and you'll figure out how to make changes to your daily routine so that you're happier in your work and also your relationships improve. And those are all relationships, family, colleagues, romantic partners, and friends. So you really do very, very well in the first 2 weeks of the month because it seems like you really get it. You connect, you get it. Either you're in the right place or you know where you need to go and you embrace that and you go towards it. Virgo, for you guys, the action happens in the 10th and 11th houses until the 13th of June. So Virgo, for you, this is all about doing work which is going to fulfill your hopes and dreams. So the first 2 weeks of June are going to be incredibly successful for you work-wise, Virgo. From the 14th onwards, we've got the energy in the 5th and 6th. So again, great success in work, but now with the additional cherry on the cake, love, romance, excitement, chemistry coming into your life and having a little bit of fun as well. Libra, first 2 weeks of the month, got a lot happening in the 9th and 10th houses. So for you, it's about broadening your horizons in a working sense. So it's continued professional development, learning new skills so that you can improve in your work. Or it's going back to school completely to find a different type of work, or it's going back to school to get a master's and then to start at a higher level in your existing company. If you can get the company to pay for it, that would be ideal. But for you Libras, either it's travel on a physical level, that's really nurturing and healing to you for the first 2 weeks, or expanding your horizons in an intellectual sense, so learning and adding skills. That's going to help you in your work. From the 14th onwards, you're concerned with the 4th and 5th houses. So it's about relationships, family relationships, and also your own family relationships in terms of, do I want to build a family? I'm single, I'm now interested in meeting someone and settling down and making a commitment. A lot of you are going to experience that. If you're in a relationship, 14th of June until the end of the month is going to be blissful, because you're all about connecting with family and really just hugging them and being near them and getting the most out of your family life and your connections. Scorpio, for the first 2 weeks of the month, the activity happens in your 8th and 9th houses. So it's really looking at whether your existing environment nurtures you and where you want to go. For you, Scorpio, I imagine that emotionally you have another recognition of either this is working or it's not working. If it's not working, it's going to be quite easy for you to make a change and a fresh start from the 14th onwards. But the first 2 weeks are really about thinking where you are, whether it suits you or not. And if it doesn't suit you, what your other options are moving forward, where you can go, what you can do, whether a new relationship is something you're interested in, or whether you want to make yourself single. Those are all really personal questions that you can answer in the first 2 weeks of the month. And then from the 14th onwards, the importance is on the 3rd and 4th houses. So it's communication with yourself and being true and authentic to yourself, and connecting with family members for support. So for you, I really see that this is a month of healing and caring for yourself, in the sense that either first of all, you evaluate something, and if something is negative, you eliminate it from your life. And if it's positive, you stay in that situation. If it's not positive, you find an easy connection in work. So if you want to change work, the 14th onwards, Scorpio, is really helpful for you to find work very quickly. And also, if you struggle a little bit, ask for help. Ask your family members for help. It's really difficult to ask for help sometimes. Some people don't know how to ask for help at all. And some people don't ask for help because they know they'll have to make changes if they ask for help, and they don't want to make changes. So if you're struggling and you say, do you know what, Mum, this work situation, I'm sending 30 applications a day and I'm exhausted. And it's not about getting your mother to give you a solution, but just saying, oh, well done, you've sent 30 applications, you're tired now, well done. Let's hope something comes back from it, but you've done your bit, and that's all you can do. Sagittarius, for you, there's a lot of activity in the 7th and 8th houses until the 13th. So your relationships are going to be really, really highlighted and very, very good. And the 8th house is institutions, so your working life relationships are also going to be really fab and easy. From the 14th onwards, your 2nd and 3rd house see a lot of action. So you'll see either a promotion or more money coming in. And you also become much clearer and much more focused in what it is you want out of your life and how you want to progress. So for you, Sagittarius, this seems like the simplest month really, and the most successful month out of all of the signs of the zodiac, as far as I can see. Capricorn, for you, until the 13th of June, we've got a lot of stuff going on in the 6th and 7th houses. So you'll be happy with your daily working life and routine. And you're going to focus on your relationships. Both of those are running along very nicely. From the 14th, if they aren't, then get to work on making your work and your relationships function. Sort out any problems, differences of opinion, where you don't see eye to eye. If work is a problem, if the commute is a problem, if the location is uncomfortable, the first 2 weeks of June are the best time for you to make changes in those areas, okay? Then from the 14th onwards, we've got the energy in the 1st and 2nd house. So you really understand who you are, and you stop kidding yourself and stop accepting things which are beneath you, and you really succeed in terms of finance. So reading between the lines here, it seems to me like the thing that you find you're not satisfied with is your work. You either start doing something on the side, or you make a change, or you change jobs completely, And as a result of that, you feel really proud of yourself and you make more money. So Capricorns, you guys, please look at your value, what you're doing in your company, and whether you're being paid properly. And if it's not decent, I know we live in hard times, you know, and I know that this generation can't afford houses until they're 35 and they live with their parents until they're 35. And that, you know, the millennials are very sensitive and that they aren't able to do things the way their parents did. Like in the 60s, you could walk from one job into the other because everything was being rebuilt and there was a lot of work and there was a lot of money that was generated. So looking at it in terms of the generations, people who were born in the 30s, 40s, 50s were, you know, in those post-war rebuilding things, very lucky that they could create a lot of income. These days, if you want a job at a newspaper, you have to do a 3-month or 6-month unpaid internship. I mean, who's paying for that? So the poor parents of the current kids are really having to help in the way their parents didn't help them because they didn't need to. It was easier. So for you, Capricorn, you're able to break out of that statistic and you can say, I know what I want now. I'm making changes to my work and I'm getting paid to a level where I feel like I'm really actually getting what I deserve. For Aquarius, loads of stuff going on until the 13th of June in the 5th and 6th houses. So for Aquarius, for you, this is all about fixing and nurturing and loving your romantic relationships and your relationship with your partner and your children. That's going to be really, really positive for you. If you're single, it's going to be quite easy for you to meet someone during your day-to-day routine, your everyday life. Someone is likely to come in during the first 13 days of June, and keep your eyes and ears open if you're interested in meeting someone new. If you're in a relationship that, like I said, that's going to go really well, but also making new friends and expanding your social circle is going to be really easy for you this month. Then from the 14th of June onwards, the activities in the 12th and 1st houses. So spiritually, you're really connected and you know what you're meant to be doing. And in yourself, you feel really comfortable and proud of yourself. So I really think that you achieve something very, very positive in the first half of the month that you then smugly pat yourself on the back for the rest of the month. And that's really good. For Pisces, we've got the energy in the 4th and 5th houses. So you're going to put everything into relationships, family relationships, romantic relationships, and that is going to be bliss and joy for you. So family is going to be awesome. Relationships are going to be awesome. New relationships, if you're not in a relationship already, are very, very likely because you've got so much positive, nurturing energy flowing into that sector of your chart that starting a new romantic relationship in the first 2 weeks of June is really likely. Again, if you're in a relationship already, bliss. Happy, happy, happy. From the 14th onwards, it's the 11th and 12th houses. So you enjoy the family connection for the first half of the month. The rest of the month, you have the ability to really understand, like one or two of the other signs, what it is that you're actually after in life. What is it that you want to achieve? Do you want to end up like someone who's globally famous and has a lot of money? Do you want a simple life where you just live alone in a cabin in the woods? Do you want to paint and express something? Do you want to heal other people? Do you not want to work at all and just sit around? What is it that you actually want to do? And in the last 2 weeks of June, you can really ask yourself that. The universe is going to give you a lot of answers, and so are friends. So make sure you don't isolate yourself. You speak with friends, you connect with your higher power, and you really ask some of these bigger life questions. And I said earlier, you need to plan your life the way you want it to be. And this is all about planning and getting the information that allows you to say, okay, this is the direction I'm going in. So again, it may be that your family or this new romantic partner puts you on a totally different path, that you would have never imagined and you're delighted with it, or the universe gives you some surprising message and you go with that and you're delighted with that. So for you, it looks like an amazing month as well. So I hope that gives you some information on what's happening in the month of June. Let me know what you think about the new format. I absolutely love it because I get to talk off the cuff and listen to my intuition as I look at the charts in front of me live. I can give the energy the way I am not able to give it when I do a video for each sign, because I have to do 12 videos and I can't make 12 30 to 40 minute videos. It would take me like days. So in this video, I've been able to really go into all the details of the planets and what they're doing. And then to the end, I've been able to tell you how that relates to each sun sign of the zodiac. So first of all, take into account your sun sign, what I've said for that, and then your rising sign, and finally your moon sign if you want. But that's not really necessary. That confuses things. I would just say, listen to the sun sign and the rising sign for your horoscope. And please also let me know what you think of this new format, whether you like it, you hate it. Tell me what you think. If you really think, Greg, you need to do one for each sign of the zodiac and it needs to be 30 minutes long and you're being lazy, tell me that. If you think this is reasonable and acceptable and it gives you just as much information, but it just makes it easier and it's still easy to understand, let me know that. And I'd be very happy to hear that because I feel good about this. When I used the whiteboard, as soon as I finished, I felt so awful about it. People like the whiteboard, but I just, it gave me the creeps. It was like being back in school in 1980. But this I'm happy with. So let me know what your feedback is. If you would like a private reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. Please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Oh, by the way, in my personal readings, I use astrology, tarot, and numerology, and I combine them all. So the way I combine the numbers here with the astrology, I combine all three in my private reading. So the astrology chart I can draw up by using your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, I can use sunrise, or I can rectify the chart to work out your time of birth. That's a process where you send me 10 major life events and I work out the time of birth from that. So if you're interested in that, email me at readings@gregoryscott.co.uk. Once I have your astrology chart in front of me, it's a blueprint of your soul. It shows me what your life purpose is, where you've been in past lifetimes. It shows me vocationally what you're gifted at. Also, what's destined for you in love and health and romance and career and money and living situations, and also what's coming up in future in all of those areas of your life. So if you have questions about compatibility or when things are going to pick up in an area or when your health is going to improve or what you need to change, or if you just want a general kind of look to give you some clarity, if you're at a crossroads, you don't know what to do work-wise, we can look at all of that and it's really clear, and that's why these divination systems are so great and I love working with them. So I've really enjoyed doing this reading for you today. Like I said, please give me some feedback and subscribe if you like the videos. If not, obviously don't. I hope you have a wonderful month. I will be with you daily for the daily tarot readings, also for the weekly horoscopes. And I hope you have a great month. All the best.